Welcome to the London leg and the first of 2 days of action for this 12th stop on the Samsung Diamond League of 2010. The keen sense of anticipation for those 2012 Olympic Games pervades all of the UK, but the city and its iconic sites in particular feel the buzz, with the Olympic Stadium only a long javelin throw away from the very centre of London. The Crystal Palace National Sports Centre here in South London is the setting for the 2 days of athletics. And 1 week after the balmy sunshine of Stockholm and almost 2 weeks after the European Championships, dozens of medalists from Barcelona are gathered to do battle. Although in the last 2 hours here we have had torrential rain. Well, fresh from his defeat to Usain Bolt last week, Tyson Gay is back and will be warmly welcomed by this packed house. But so will many of the 19 UK medalists from Barcelona on what promises to be a great first night at this ageing home of athletics in the UK. A lot of money up for grabs in the 27 events over these 2 days, but on day one, just 17 degrees centigrade, 67% humidity and very overcast. The heavens are threatening still above us. About an hour ago, it teemed down for some 20 minutes and plenty of people out in the open here at Crystal Palace got absolutely soaked. Well, myself, Tim Hutchings, and Stuart Story with you for 2 hours now of the very best action from this Crystal Palace Sports Centre, built in 1964. It was the first ever synthetic track here, built in Europe in 1968. The action already underway in the stadium, and Stuart, the athletes out on the track for the first event, the 400-metre hurdles, but on the field, it's been going for a little while.
Yes, it has. The pole vault, as you can see, already going strongly. We've got a very, very good field indeed between Lavilliers and Steve Hooker. And, of course, Steve Lewis of Great Britain is there, Brad Walker, rather. Lavilliers of France, the European champion, world bronze medalist last year. Unbeatable this season, 10 out of 10 wins outdoors. And that is a very, very... I was going to say a good clearance. It's a failure, of course. And they really are struggling. Well, the first event on the track is the 400-metre hurdles for men, and it's a very, very good lineup indeed. The world number one versus the European champion. And there's the lineup. Gordon drawn in lane 1, Van Zyl in 2, Green in 3, Jackson in 4, Coulson in 5, Gaiman in 6, Sanchez in 7, and Williams of Great Britain in lane 8. Jehu Gordon of Trinidad, 18 years old, 48-47 is best this season, so he's a youngster to look out for. Van Zyl, the South African, the Commonwealth champion, 3 times African champion, won the title just recently. Drawn in lane 2. The European champion, David Green of Great Britain, drawn in lane 3, 48.12, a magnificent performance in Barcelona. He's drawn inside the world number 1, the Olympic bronze medalist, the world bronze medalist, 47.32 this season. Won in Stockholm, unbeaten in his last 4 races. Absolutely terrific. Well, this fella, tall, elegant athlete, Javier Coulson of Peru, 26, second in Stockholm, 47.72. Justin Gaiman of the United States, 4th in the American Olympic trials, just missed selection for the Olympics. He's got a best of 48.65 though. Well, Felix Sanchez will want a good one here, the 2004 Olympic champion, twice world champion, was disqualified in Stockholm, wants desperately to do well here. His best this season, 48.17. And right on the outside, the European bronze medalist in 2006, silver this year, Rhys Williams of Great Britain. New personal best at 48.96. Difficult lane, and real talent inside it. So Gordon, Van Zyl, Green, Jackson, Coulson, Gaiman, Sanchez and Williams. The men's 400-metre hurdles. European champion. Wonderful win in Barcelona. Well, no problem with the start this time. Not a lot into the moment, but Sean Jackson stuttering a little bit into that hurdle. Coulson going well, the tall figure on the outside. Also Felix Sanchez of the Dominican Republic. The big fella, Javier Coulson, has gone off very strongly indeed. Inside him, the very, very quick Sean Jackson, who has a terrific last 150 metres or so. Felix Sanchez going very strongly on the outside. They'll close him down as they come into the straight. Here comes the big man. Here comes Sean Jackson into the straight. Coulson leads. Jackson in second place. Green struggling a little bit against this talent at the moment. Here comes Sean Jackson. Sean Jackson versus Javier Coulson, and this is going to be tight. Jackson gets it, Coulson in second place, and in third place David Green, the winning time 48.13. And I told you, watch out for the big tall fella, but my goodness me, Sean Jackson wins another one. That's 11. That's another win, unbeaten in his last 5 races now. Terrific athlete, runs very evenly paced. Doesn't look to be going well to 200 metres, but between 2 and 3 closes down. And in the home straight, he's very, very strong. Very strong.
Well, he's just about unbeatable, isn't he, Stuart Jackson? Coulson must be wondering there, what do I have to do to beat this guy? He knew Jackson would come at him in the last 150. Tried to build up the lead, tried to build up a bit of a cushion through the first 200 or 300. But again and again, this man, Sean Jackson, will come back to athletes ahead of him in the home straight. Look at him here, going into the second bend. He's probably 6 or 7 metres down. Coulson there in the yellow and blue with a headband. Just to the right of him, as you look at it, is Jackson there, 1 lane inside. Jackson starts accelerating there on the crown of the bend. Into the straight, they cover that one together. Coulson doesn't take it very well, but Jackson very, very powerful for a small man. Works so hard. I thought Coulson had got it there 30 metres out, but Jackson battles his way to the line there, wins by a foot, and Coulson yet again is wondering what he must do.
Well, just looking at this again, certainly Felix Sanchez was way up there at 300 metres, but faded badly in the home straight. And Justin Gaiman, I think the other American, came through very quickly to take 4th place, but no doubt about 3rd, David Green, the European champion. Difficult conditions. We'll have a look at the result of that in a moment, just to confirm all of that. The crowd settling down.
I'll tell you what, Stu, if anything, those clouds are darkening a little bit more, rather ominously, above South London here. This stadium, of course, will host this Diamond League meeting again next year, but then it'll be to the Olympic Stadium, probably about 8 or 10 miles north.
Well, there have been 1 or 2 field events earlier on this evening. The women's discus is first. In 3rd place, Nicoleta Grasso of Romania, the silver medalist in the European Championships, 4 times a world medalist, 61 metres and 78 in the final round, took her into the 3rd place. In 2nd place, Sandra Perkovic of Croatia, but incidentally, hers was a first round throw of 63 metres and 30, and that set the target for the rest. European junior champion last year, European senior champion this year, the youngest ever winner, incidentally. That was Grasso. Well, Perkovic, will come on to her in a moment. There she is. Terrific throw in the very beginning. You can see there's a little bit of sunshine at this stage in the event. Really worked well. Good delivery there and a very fine start, and that was 63.30, and the rest had to follow that. But fancy that, winning the European Championships last year, European Juniors last year, and then coming to Barcelona and winning the European Senior Championship this year. That's quite something. Very fast, good stance, unleashes that throwing arm. It's very active, and that, you can see, was clearly enjoyed. Well, there's the evidence, 63.30, and that 63.30 was good enough to hold a 2nd place overall. But the athlete from Cuba, Yaris Barrios, beaten only once this season, 65 metres and 62 in the first round. She's 3 times World Championship silver medalist. That was Osaka, Beijing, and Berlin, or rather major championship medals, the Beijing, the Olympic Games in 08. Barrios with 65 meters and 62. That was good enough to take it on this occasion. Very athletic. She's only fouled out once this season on the Diamond League program. There it is, 65-62, so that was good enough in the first round. And there's the result. Barrios 65-62, Sandra Peklavic 63-30, and Nicoletta Grasu 61-78 in third place. I'll bring you up to date with the result of that 400-meter hurdle soon. Let's have a look. There it is. Bashawn Jackson 48-12, Javier Coulson 48-17, David Green 49-09 in third.
Well, the athletes are out on the track for the next event. As you look at that result, Green there looking a little under par for my money, although the time for David Green 49.09, nothing to sniff at. But the first heat of the men's 100 metres coming up shortly. The women's javelin well underway as well on the infield. And the world record holder, Sposikova of the Czech Republic in this field. There's Patterson of the USA, 69.57 with her opening effort. 59.57, excuse me, for the American. First of just 4 rounds they're going to have, despite that caption. Here is Sposikova. Not great conditions for javelin throwing. They really don't like that wet runway. And that one for the Czech. Just a couple of minutes ago, coming down at 63 meters 50. She does lead the Diamond League rankings with 12 points. Patterson in second place with 8. And of course, just the 2 finals in Zurich and Brussels over the next couple of weeks to come. But again, she's holding that right elbow. She looked in a lot of pain in Barcelona, where she couldn't get the gold that she so desperately wanted.
Yeah, she's had problems, injury problems. I spoke to her in an airport en route from one of the Diamond League meets. But back to the 100 meters, this is the first of 2 heats.
Tyson Gay, of course, going in this first heat. Is he the world number 1? Well, a week ago in Stockholm in glorious sunshine, how different was it to tonight in conditions? He defeated Usain Bolt quite comprehensively. Bolt has since said with back problems he's hung up his competition spikes for the season and is not racing again until next year. There's the lineup. Tyson Gay goes in lane 4, Endura in 1, Devonish 2, Forsyth in 3. Then Gay goes in 4, Johan Blake in 5, Kim in 6, Samuel 7, and Christian Malcolm in lane 8. Fresh from that silver medal in the European Championships over 200 metres, Christian Malcolm. Well, the qualifying is the first 3 in each of these 2 heats, with the 2 best performers advancing to the final. There in lane 1. Chaisuma Saidi Endure for Norway now, former Gambian. He's a big football fan, is this man, who was 3rd in Gateshead over 200 metres and 5th in the European Championships over 200 metres. That's probably his better distance. Marlon Devonish, well, still going strong at the age of 34. 4th in those European Championships over 200. Just missed out on a rostrum spot. Mario Forsyth of Jamaica, coached by Glenn Mills and trains in the same group as Usain Bolt, was 5th in Stockholm last week over 100. There is Gay. Well, what can you say about him? 9.84 this year. He's not as quick as Bolt and Asafa Powell at this year over 100 metres, but he's beaten them both now. Johan Blake in lane 5, the danger man to Gay perhaps tonight. Some people think he is. He's well rested. He hasn't raced for about 3 weeks since Monaco over 200 metres, and there he ran 19.78, the young Jamaican. Charles Kimmons goes in lane 6, 4th at the World Indoors over 60 metres back in March, and 2nd in the US Championships. Kimmons, one to watch, he's in 6. Jamie Samuels, another American there in lane 7, comes here fresh from a 3rd place in Lucerne, where he won a separate under-23 race and has run 10.03 this year. And Christian Malcolm completes the lineup. Not a great lane 8 for Christian there, but nonetheless a huge welcome for this 31-year-old, the UK champion this year, the European Championship silver medalist, as I said, a former world junior champion of both 100 and 200 metres. So the tickets in the last couple of weeks have been selling at roughly 1,000 tickets per day, we understand, for this meeting since those European Championships, and hardly a seat to be had here in Crystal Palace tonight. These men have to race again right at the end of our programme in about an hour and a half's time. Saidin Dure in 1, Devonish in 2, Forsyth in 3, Tyson Gay goes in lane 4, Johan Blake in 5, Trell Kimmins in 6, Samuels in 7, Christian Malcolm nearest the camera in lane 8. Well, I'll tell you what, that was Saidin Dure, I think, over in lane 1 to ride a picture. Very, very clearly a full start from the Norwegian, and that could be him. Down and out, he's gone. We'll wait for it to become official, but look at this. Dear, oh dear, there is no cushion these days, no forgiving factor. One full start and you disqualify yourself, and there is only yourself to blame 99.9% of the time. I don't think there was much noise in the stadium just now, Stuart.
No, not at all. For the pole vault. That's Miles, and Derek Miles is going quite well in this pole vault competition. Just a brief glimpse at him.
Well, back to this 100 metres first heat of 2, and unfortunately it was indeed Saidin Dure of Norway who has to step aside. He's a big football fan, this man. The Premiership season here in the UK, in England, opens tomorrow. Wonder if he's got tickets. So once again then, Marlon Devonish goes in lane 2. The lane beside him, lane 1, now empty. Mario Forsyth of Jamaica in 3. Tyson Gay, there he is, in lane 4. In wonderful form. He's had his own fair share of injury problems in the last few months, but he's in fine fettle now. Of course, Asifa Powell was due to run here at Crystal Palace. He is pulled out with a back problem. Johan Blake of Jamaica in 5. Trell Kimmins, the USA 6. Jamie Samuels, the USA 7. And Christian Malcolm in lane 8. The first of 2 heats. First 3 go through by right to the final. Away cleanly this time. Gay, third to right there in the blue, sat back in the blocks a little bit, didn't get a very good start at all. It was a safe start from Gay. Here he comes though, alongside him is Blake. It's Gay, Blake, and on the near side I think that was Jamie Samuels who took third spot. 10.02 into a slight headwind, and it's a cool, damp evening here at Crystal Palace. That was pretty useful, especially as it was what I would call by his standards a fairly lazy start. He really didn't get away at all well. I don't think he particularly wanted to. He just wanted to make sure he got away legally and got to the line in the first 3, and as it happens he won at a canter. 10.02 there for Tyson Gay. Remember, he's 9.69 at his very best, the second fastest man in history. There's plenty spare there. Works hard through that middle section of the race, shuts down there about 20 metres out, just drops the arms, chugs across the line. He and Blake well clear.
Yeah, another look at this. Tyson Gay didn't get away well at all, and certainly Kimmins got a good start, and so did Blake. Blake actually is quite a good athlete. He's only 20, remember, the youngster, the yellow top next to Gay. 9.95 this season, that's a personal best, and I think we'll see a lot more from him. Very impressive young man. Another look from the top. It was Trell Kimmins that got the start there. Blake was left a little bit, but then they overtook him. Gay really had to work hard up to about halfway, and then at 60 metres started to coast a little bit. And then, actually, if anything, Johan Blake looked the more comfortable of the two until that final stage when Gay was away. But a good win. First 3 go through by right to the final at, 8.48.
And confirmation of Gay's time there, 10.02 over Blake and Samuels. Those first three will definitely go through to the final. Trent Kimmins on 10.25 and Mario Forsyth. We'll have to wait and see if they can be fastest losers. Second heat coming up in a few minutes' time.
Well, the women's long jump finished some time ago. Elias Fountain of the United States. Those who support the heptathlon will recognise the Olympic silver medalist here in that event. Didn't go to the World Championships, was fourth in the, failed to finish in the American Championships, and it really is sudden death there. But she got third place here with a jump of 6 meters and 57, and that's not a bad jump in these conditions. Jessica Ennis is in the crowd here watching, because this young woman will certainly be one of her main competitors in the World Championships next year, as long, of course, as the championships of the United States go well. It was a good run. Just cuts down, chops down a little bit, a nice little hang. Doesn't quite get the leg shoot at the end. There's much more in the tank there, really, having looked at that. At 6 meters and 57, that was the last round of the long jump, so that was a very, very good, solid, competitive finish to her competition. There it is, there's the series two. Lyudmila Kolchanova of Russia. This jump, 6.65. That was a better performance. It came very, very strongly. It was fifth in the European Championships, incidentally. 6.65. Kolchanova, one of those athletes who really looked as though she was going to do well in this competition, and in fact did quite well. The conditions, well, let me mention it again, not totally good, very damp, but a nice straight down the line technique for the Russian. There it is, 6.65 to beat that 6.49 of round two. But Daria Klishina of Russia is the reigning European junior champion, incidentally. Her best this year, 7 meters and 3. She's only 19. What a prospect here for Olympic gold in a couple of years' time. 6.65 that jump, but on the basis of a second best jump, that was the way she beat Kolchanova. Both of them 6.65. Second best jump then comes into play. Just about makes the board. Lovely technician. So there you go. The countback situation determining who won that one. Very, very close indeed. There it is, 6.65, round three.
Confirmation of the win there for Klishina, 6.65 from Kolchanova, exactly the same distance as her best, but on count back the younger Russian taking it. Elias Fountain in third place, 6.57.
Well, now we're coming to the second heat of the 100 meters. There's the long jump standings, incidentally, in the Diamond League, before we come back to that 100.
Yes, Brittany Reese leading with 10 points from Klishina, who earns 4 points tonight to total 9. Nadia Gomes in third with 7. And though the lower ranking athletes. Well, the next event on the track will be the second heat of the men's 100 meters. Conditions clearly not too bad down there, although Gay was running into a slight headwind.
Well, there it is. Spearman, Paget, Lewis Francis, Dix, Thompson, Martina, Rogers and Gilling. It's a very, very strong lineup indeed, particularly when you look to lane 4 and Walter Dix. We'll come through to him as we go lane by lane, if we do go lane by lane. Certainly Walter Dix, who beat Tyson Gay in the Eugene 200 meters, a terrific run it was indeed. But he's a 9.88 man this season. He got a bronze medal in the Olympic Games in 100 and the 200 meters. But Wallace Spearman on the right of your shot now, and centre shot, world silver medalist at 200 meters, bronze at 2007 and 2009. He's very much a 200 meter specialist, but he's got a best of 10.15. A man with lots of strength and speed endurance. Travis Paget, well, he was fourth in the US Championships in both the Olympic trials in 2008 and the World Championship trials 2009. Diminutive figure next to Mark Lewis Francis. European silver medal. All those 10.18s, he was given the verdict. An Olympic gold medalist in the 4x1. Looking to get back to real form. Will need to compete against this fella. He is tough. 9.88, his best set this season. Very impressive as well is Richard Thompson. 2 Olympic silver medals from Beijing, former American base, Louisiana State, I'm told. Was third in Stockholm. Jurandi Martina of the Dutch Antilles. Fourth in the Beijing Olympic 100 meters, originally second in the 200 meters, then disqualified. He's clocked 1982, so it was disappointing for him. Mike Rogers, the US champion at 100 last year, indoor 60-meter champion, the last, for 2008 and 2010. To complete the lineup, Tremaine Gilling of Great Britain. English closed champion at 100 metres, got a best of 10.25. Good for experience for this fella. Just to remind you, first 3 and 2 fastest go through to the final. So, Spearman, Paget, Lewis Francis, Dix, Thompson, Martina, Rogers and Gilling. Dix got away well, so did Thompson outside him. Thompson and Dix, these two going very strongly indeed, so is Rogers on the near side. Dix gets it, Thompson in second place. We'll look to Spearman on the far side. He was very close for third, but we'll check on that in a moment. The time 10.08.
So nothing to choose.
And Richard Thompson, I said watch out for him, but certainly Walter Dix is a powerhouse, he really is. Mark Lewis Francis, we'll check on him as well for British viewers.
There's Walter Dix, double Olympic sprint bronze.
Yes, that looked like a slightly closer race than the first heat, Stuart. I wouldn't be surprised if we get the fastest losers from that one. Dix confirmed as the winner at 10.08 ahead of Thompson, 10.14, and it was indeed Michael Rogers third, 10.22. Here it is again. Certainly they worked very hard there. Dix there with the dark glasses, just holding his form slightly the better, coming to the line. Although I have to say Thompson easing back and looking across at Dix a few metres out as if to say, what's the rush for? We're through. That final for them now, about an hour and a quarter away. And of course Rogers will be through by right as well. I can confirm that Wallace Spearman with 10.25 will also go through, as will Trell Kimmins. So the fourth placer from each of the two races will go through as fastest losers. Trell Kimmins from the first heat and Wallace Spearman from that second heat. They are running into a minus 0.3 wind there, and in the first race Tyson Gay minus 0.4. Not a great deal in it, frankly, although one feels that perhaps Gay was keeping his powder just a little bit drier.
Yeah, another look at this. Certainly that was a very, very good start indeed by Thompson. And in the end, Dix, a big, powerful man. He really is a powerhouse. Came through that very, very strongly indeed. Let's just check on that. Walter Dix, 10.08. Richard Thompson, 10.14. And Mike Rogers and Wallace Spearman, third and fourth, 10.22 to 10.25. Another one of our earlier field events, the women's shot. This is Li Xiaogong of China. It all ended up in the fourth round, incidentally. You've seen the series there. It was 19 meters and 26, that fourth round throw. She was the world bronze medalist last year in Berlin. Just 1 year earlier, she was the 5th placer in the Olympic Games in Beijing. Lovely shift, good activity in the right leg as she pushes over that left foot, and that's in fact that's the 1909 throw. The fourth round she went better than that with 1926. Now Valerie Adams-Vili, this is her 4th round. The Olympic champion from Beijing, has won all the majors in her career, incidentally. Second to Ostapchuk, though, throughout the season. We'll see Ostapchuk soon. Vili, very, very big, very tall and linear, but very muscular. And this 4th round throw, 19 meters and 83. You can see the 19-meter line, very close to what would be 20 meters. 1983. Lovely shift. The women tending to do the linear shift technique, whereas you see most of the men now using the rotation. So it's 1983, the distance. Now then, I mentioned Nadezhda Ostapchuk of Belarus. Well, once again, it was her 4th round throw that did the business. Ostapchuk, the world indoor champion this season, also the European champion. Very, very powerful, really gets behind that, flicks it off the fingertips. Lovely and low, look at that, beautiful, high elbow, everything there. 20 meters and 27. The former world champion won that in 2005. There it is, 2027. And that was it. Not bad. We've seen better from her, but that's not bad. Well, there's the result. Ostapchuk, 2027. Valerie Adams-Vili, 1983. And then Gong, 1926 in 3rd place. The rest for you to see. Let's have a look at the Diamond League situation here. There it is. Ostapchuk, 20 points, invincible. Vili, 14. Ikovic, 4. And Gong, 2. But look at that, we've got a couple of 1 point, but Ostapchuk totally unbeaten this season.
Well, the sky remains threatening with the athletes getting ready for the next track event, the steeplechase for men. Back to the javelin, and Kara Patterson in round 2 now. Patterson opened with 59.57. This one from the American, slightly better, just beyond the 60-meter line, as you can see, around 61 meters. And that's in these potentially slippery conditions. The far end where they're throwing, not too bad at all. Spotakova leads with that 63.50 opening effort, and she passing her 2nd round effort, and indeed the computers here indicating passing her 3rd round effort as well. But 61.77 for Kara Patterson puts her comfortably in 2nd place.
61.77 to get up to 2nd. 63.50.
Christine Obergvoll, the 3rd round of this javelin competition. Obergvoll, the Olympic bronze medalist, Germany's only athletics medal in Beijing, incidentally, had a dreadful Olympics. Twice world silver medalist. She got a best this season of 66.74, incidentally. Lovely fast approach, stomps that left foot down. A little bit of rotation, doesn't quite keep that lead foot down long enough to work against it. Just a little bit premature on the hit. But that, once again, with Obergvoll, 58.45, and she can do better than that. I think the look on her face tells you.
Well, there's the scene. The crowd sitting patiently waiting for this next track event to get underway, and I'm sure a few nervous glances upwards. That's the attire required for this evening, not the red wigs. The plastic I'm referring to, of course. It's nice to see a little bit of the old red and white. Colours that so many of us were cheering for at the World Cup in South Africa a few months back, but it all came to virtually nothing, didn't it? Back to Obergvoll though, round 4 now for the German, and 58.45 very modest by her standards, it has to be said. Obukful with that throw, improving by less than a metre on her opener, 57.83. And that's not much better, it has to be said. Goodness me, the Olympic bronze medalist at the age of 28, who has thrown 66 metres this year, really struggling to get anywhere near that 60-metre line.
Yeah, she's just come off a successful European Championships, really, with a silver medal, and you know, one would expect it a little bit more, I would have thought. That's how it goes sometimes.
There it is, 55.49. Goodness me, she's thrown 11 metres better this year. She's way off the mark. Well, there's the lineup for this men's steeplechase competition. A relatively small field, just 12 athletes out there on the back straight. But I can tell you it's a relatively windless, cool evening here at Crystal Palace. It might be very damp, but for these men, of course, with the water jump on each lap, conditions are, well, not too bad. Antonio Jimenez there, of Spain in this lineup, former European champion. He took gold 8 years ago in the Olympic Stadium in Munich. Luke Gunn, Stuart Stokes, two of the top Brits there, but up against a very strong Kenyan trio: Ezekiel Kemboi, the 2004 Olympic champion; Brimin Kipruto, the 2008 and reigning Olympic champion in this field. Kipruto, by the way, is the Diamond League leader on points. There's Linus Chumba, 13:21 man at 5,000 metres. Won in Gateshead, incidentally, a few weeks back. You may have seen that one. Stuart Stokes and Luke Gunn, the UK champion. Steve Slattery, third in the US Championships. Not been in great form this year, 8:24 his best. Brimin Kipruto, well, he's a man knocking on the door of 8 minutes, sub 8 minutes. Nobody, by the way, has broken 8 minutes in the world this year. Kip Kemboi, well, he's a man who is very familiar with running strongly. Ezekiel Kemboi, the Olympic champion 2004, third in the Diamond League rankings. Paul Kipsiele-Koech, the Olympic bronze medalist of 2004. 6 times he's broken 8 minutes. Kipyego, former world junior champion. Paulo there of Portugal. Jimenez of Spain, as I've already mentioned, a former European champion. Ben Bruce of the USA, second in their championships. And the Australian, Yusuf Abdi there, nearest the camera. Bronze medalist over 1,500 metres at the Commonwealth Games in Manchester. Remember that? All of 8 years ago. But has very good flat speed, does Abdi. Can he live with the Kenyans here? I wonder if in this relatively low pressure race with small numbers, they'll go for a quick time here. Fastest time in the world this year is by Brimin Kipruto. He is the Diamond League leader, just outside 8 minutes. With that world record down at 7:53 by Saeed Shaheen, going back to 2004. Surely we'll see a sub 8 minute clocking before the end of this 2010 season. Perhaps they'll do it at the Commonwealth Games in a few weeks' time. They're in October. What away they go. We'll see how this race unfolds from early on. Paul Koech goes straight to the front there, and immediately the 5 Kenyans in this field push to the fore, and the pattern is set. Now, Koech went to the front so purposefully there. I just wonder whether it was a little bit orchestrated, and if they are going to chase a quick time here tonight, it would be nice to see. It should, for all intents and purposes, be an exhibition run between the Kenyans battling each other, and then the rest of the world battling themselves, of course. Well, forget that, it's not 38.24 at 1,000 metres. We're looking for 1,000 metre segments here of around 240, 241. That would bring them home in about 8 minutes. Koech here doesn't look particularly in a hurry to me, and I'm not sure this is quick. We'll see as they go through the 400 metre point. They certainly set off very strongly, but it's about 65 seconds there at the first lap. So we're looking at about 8:05, 8:07 pace. Koech it is who leads. Kipyego there in the blue in second place. Chumba on the outside in about 4th or 5th place. Was only 7th in the Kenyan Championships recently. Though, as I said, he did win at Gateshead, was 5th in Stockholm last week. For a lot of these Kenyans, It's really about just getting onto the circuit, getting the flight paid for from back home, and being given the opportunity to race. Although, of course, the likes of Kemboy and Kipruto, both Olympic champions, have plenty of experience in these situations.
Well, in the early stages of that race, we'll just come back to confirm the javelin. Linda Stahl of Germany was third in the competition. Surprise new European champion, incidentally. Won the under-23 title back in 2007. Was sixth in the world final last year, just to give you one or two statistics. In third place here with 59 meters and 60. The event didn't really take off. And this athlete has got a best of 66.81. Had a very good European Championships. Hits that quite well, but the javelin not flying today. Have a little look at it. Long arm, hits it long and hard, but sub 60. So there is the series, 2 no throws and 59.60 for Linda Stahl in third place. And second place was Cara Patterson, the new United States record holder, incidentally. 66.67 her best throw this season, but this throw, a 63.41, that was a fourth round throw. Her first throw, a second throw, incidentally, over 60 meters. The second round was 61.77. Just to give you an update on the series, we'll get a look at that in a moment. That was a little better at 63 meters and 41. The American record, 66.67, so well below that at the moment, but not too bad. On the occasion, there it is, there's the series. Second place. So leaves only the winner, Spatakova of the Czech Republic, the world record holder. Passed the last round. She won with her first round throw of 63 meters and 50, and let's just confirm all of that. Spatakova 63.50, Cara Patterson 63.41, and Linda Stahl 59.60. Well, that completes Olga Fall. Full competition for her at 58.45 in fourth place.
Well, back to this steeplechase, although we can see that Spatakova there does indeed lead the diamond race standings with 16 points over Patterson's 10, with the Villion of South Africa on 7. Well, they went through 1 kilometre in 2:54. It was very slow, in fact. I thought they set off at a reasonable tempo, but they've been reduced virtually to a jog over the last couple of minutes. And now with 4.5 minutes on the clock, you can see everybody's still in contact with this field. They really are playing a cat and mouse game, the Kenyans up front, with each other. I don't think they're interested in a quick time at all here tonight, because that is pedestrian by their standards, it has to be said. Still the pattern the same though, the Africans up front, the rest of the world further back. As they come off that barrier, it's still Koech who leads with Kipyego on his shoulder. The pattern has been set from very early on, nobody committing themselves and nobody prepared to make a move.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see who takes this on with 3 laps to go in this steeplechase. Koech has been there or thereabouts, just outside 8:02 this season, as Tim has said. Won in New York, was third in Lausanne, second in Paris, won Stockholm just recently. Koech, very, very competent Olympic bronze medalist back in 2004. He's got all the experience, all the pedigrees, half a dozen times below 8 minutes for steeplechase, but as Tim was saying, not this season. It's very difficult to find, but look at this. All of a sudden, there's a subtle injection of pace, and Koech and Kipruto and Kip Kemboy get away, and there's a significant gap.
Well, there is indeed, yes, and that second kilometre much quicker. 5:42 for that second kilometre. I say much quicker. Actually, it was a 2:48, the first kilometre 2:54, so 5:42, still not fast by the standards of these men. And I would expect they come into the straight now with, just over 2 laps to run. See a fairly tasty split for this final kilometre segment for what it's worth. The winning time won't be quick by their standards, but these three well away. Koech, Kipruto, Kip Kemboy, they are the big three. Koech, who is second in the Diamond League standings, wants the points here, remember. He desperately wants those points, does Koech. Good prize money here, and good prize money, remember, too, for the overall Diamond League situation. If you can take the title, so to speak, for each of the 27 events. There's very, very good prize money up for grabs. Koech in second place at the moment, but on 9 points, the same as Kipruto. Koech pushing hard. Kipruto there in second place, who leads on the overall standings by dint of his win-loss record over Koech. Third place, Kemboy. Oh my word, Kipruto almost going down there. Real loss of concentration, and Kemboy comes through on the inside just to take advantage of it. He almost went down, did Kipruto. I don't know what he was thinking of there. These guys are used to wet tracks, remember, for obvious reasons. Just over a lap to run then. Koech, the race-long leader, at the bell, just 1 metre ahead of Kemboy. Kipruto, the Diamond League leader, the reigning Olympic champion and world champion back in 2007, in third place, but stumbled so badly in that penultimate water jump. I wonder if it took anything out of him. Clears that one and loses a bit of ground on Koech, who's such a good hurdler. It's Koech at the moment down the back straight. Now, who's got the change of pace here with 250 to run? Koech gauges his pace for that one. Kipruto moving wide now. Looks full of running, doesn't he? The taller of these three men in the blue and yellow there moves onto the shoulder of Koech, the bronze medalist in 2004, up against the reigning Olympic champion. Koech kicks hard there off that final barrier as he sneaked a few yards on them there. Kemboy forces Kipruto wide there. It's going to be a win for Koech here, surely. He drives hard off the final barrier. A couple of nervous glances over his shoulder and another one, but he wins it. The others resign themselves to second and third. It's a win for Koech in 8:17. Kemboy third, Kipruto in third rather, and the rest of them chasing home. But what a huge gap opened up in the last couple of laps. Chumbo winning the battle for fourth place, just ahead of Jimenez, the Spaniard, with Bruce and Abdi back in 6th and 7th. That winning time, as I was saying early on from the splits, we knew it would be very modest indeed, but Koech taking maximum points and should take the lead in the Diamond League standings, Stuart.
Yes. Well, how many times have we seen Paul Koech totally define the tenor of a race this season? He really is a talent. It looked as just at the moment as Kipruto might well come through. It looked, as you said, full of running, stumbled off that, and then he allowed Kemboy to come through. So he had the world champion, the Olympic champion, and a former Olympic bronze medalist, and it really is a repeat of the story we've seen so often in Olympic and World Championship competition. Kenya 1, 2 and 3, and look at the way he came off that hurdle. Terrific momentum there. So Paul Koech from Kemboy from Kipruto in that order. Kemboy just giving up a little bit in the final stages as far as the time was concerned, but that was a true run race, let's be clear about it. Slow to start, then there was a subtle imparting of pace, and that left the rest, and then the final 400 meters, well, it was down to racing, real racing. Little glance, little look, but the damage had been done, and the rest of the field hardly in the shot. Paul Koech of Kenya.
Well, we can go to the high jump now, the women's high jump, which is in full flow. Ruth Betia of Spain, one failure already for the Spaniard at 1.91 meters. She was equal 6th in those European Championships in Barcelona. That's a nice steady clearance. The second time of asking, it has to be said. Her first failure coming at this height. She had a clean card up to this. Blanka Vlasic, incidentally, going over first time at this height. The European champion as of a couple of weeks ago. Irina Gordieva of Russia. Well, failed to qualify for the final at those European Championships. Gordieva, 1.97 jumper this year. Here she goes, third attempt at 1.91, just slides over that one. Very, very slightly built, isn't she? The power to weight ratio for these athletes who have such powerful legs, absolutely fantastic. But there wasn't much room to spare there, it has to be said, and she's living dangerously, isn't she?
Taking the lead 17 metres.
Well, Lisa Zabriskie goes in the women's 1500 metres. The World Championship silver medalist, of course, has found life a little bit more difficult in the European Championships, was fourth there. Let's have a look at the full lineup for you. Moser, Waitman, Donahue, Steph Twell, Jamal, not yet back to the sort of form that we are used to seeing in Jamal, Markstad, Dibaba, Langat, Nancy Langat, of course, who will watch her, the African champion. Worth Thomas of the United States, Alimova, Robry, there's Zabriskie, Browning, Mischenko and Smith. Should be a good one, this. There's no pacemaking in this race. This will be a true run race, and we shall see who will take it on. Very interesting to see how Alminova goes, the Russian, who had that fantastic 3:57.65 race just, I think that was in Lausanne. A very, very fine performance. We thought, well, my goodness me, she won it so easily. She's bound to win the European title, but she didn't. She was well down in 6th place. But Zabriskie will be looking to do well in this, and it's good that there aren't pacemakers. It'll be a true run race, and who will take it on? 3 3/4 laps of the track. A sprinkling of youth, a sprinkling of experience. Just waiting for the starter to call them forward now. Big crowd here at the Crystal Palace. Absolute capacity, sell out. And fortunately, the weather holding off for the moment. The heavy downpours we've had have gone away for the moment. Nervous moments of the athletes being held. Just waiting for the start time to be reached. I mentioned Jamal, 4:03.29 this season. She's a 3:56 athlete at her best. Well, that's Stacey Smith of Great Britain, Anna Mischenko, Charlotte Browning, Lisa Zabriskie has no introduction at all. Shannon Robry, the American, next to her. Here's the young woman I was mentioning, Alminova. I just wonder how she'll go this time. Worth Thomas, Langat there. Watch for Langat because she is in very good form indeed. Hasn't broken 4 minutes yet. Dibaba, another one of the Dibabas in this race. Markstad. There's Jamal, Mariam Jamal. Steph Twell, Erin Donahue of the United States, and Laura Waitman of Great Britain. And that's Sandra Moser, American champion, 3 seasons. She's won an indoor title too in the United States. So 3 3/4 laps of the track. Women's 1500 metres. Well, the world lead time is the lead time held by Alminova, and all of a sudden it's steady. Jamal on the left of your shot. You can see Zabriskie, who will want to keep out of trouble. She's got better tactically just in recent months. Zabriskie, Jamal in 3rd place. It's very steady indeed, very slow, and I just wonder, Tim, if someone's going to actually make a race of this.
Well, I'm a little surprised, I must admit, Stuart. I was expecting Alminova to do her usual thing and lead off from the front and try and rug the legs off everybody, but it didn't work for her in Barcelona, and she's obviously choosing to make this a tactical one. This probably plays into the hands of Lisa Zabriskie, who is so powerful off the final 300 or 400 metres under the tutelage of George Gagne. I felt she did leave herself with an awful lot to do in Barcelona, though. I know she was desperately disappointed with her 4th place there and outside of the medal. She's worth so much more than that. But this is bunched dangerously, isn't it? Nancy Langat there, the Olympic champion, running wide off the curb in the blue shorts and staying out of trouble, as is Jamal. But this is very slow. We'd be looking for a first lap here around 64-65 seconds, and it's way outside that.
Well, certainly Langat in the red top there. No international wins, incidentally, in 2008. Then she took the Olympic title with a personal best, not in the heat, but also in the final. Now, Steph Twell at the lead has got to push this along if she's got any chance at all. She's got a 4:02 this season, but my goodness me, she's certainly not got a sprint finish. And at the end of this race, she's got to need to run the legs off some of these people. But Langat looks very strong. Worth Thomas, I think that is, in 2nd place as they come into the straight.
Yeah, Steph Twell, I think, probably feeling well. If I'm going to get beaten in this race, going to make sure they work very hard for it. Now she's picked the pace up markedly, and with 2 laps to run, the young Briton there finds Alminova moving onto her shoulder. The Russian recognising the danger straight away. Lisa Zabriskie off the curb, which is good tactical sense there in the blue shorts in about 4th or 5th place, because when it's slow, you really can't afford to be boxed and have somebody kick away off the front and snatch 10 metres out of you.
Well, 12 setting a good pace at the moment. Alminova in 2nd place, Langat in 3rd place in the race. Then Worth Thomas is there as well. And really, the race is still to open out. And as you said, Zabriskie's in a good position on the outside, not trapped at all. He's got plenty of room. Langat looks very, very strong indeed. All of a sudden, it's winding up. You can see that. Zabriskie in 4th place now, 12 leads. In 2nd place is Alminova. Then Langat, Worth Thomas, Zabriskie.
Well, 500 metres to run, and Steph Twell certainly giving a good account of herself here. If you're going to get beaten, you might as well make sure you really do give something that you can be proud of. But Alminova and Langat, the big names are there. Zabriskie too looking ominous as they go through the bell in around 3:06.
Yeah, and it's Robery, the leading American, certainly in this race, in 3rd place. But this is Alminova, Langat. Zabriskie's got a lot of work to do as they come with about 300 metres to go. And it's going to be a very, very quick finish indeed, as we expected. And 12 left for pace once again. Robery in 3rd place. Zabriskie's got a little bit to do now. She's in 4th place, and there's a lot of work to do to catch up with just over 200 to go. Langat, the Olympic champion, now takes it on. Donahue, the American, coming wide to make her attack. Alminova, Donahue is there, Robery is there. Donahue, the taller of the 2 Americans, but here comes Langat. Alminova in 2nd place. Look at this, the Olympic champion is absolutely flying. Zabriskie coming through into 3rd place. Alminova is in 2nd, but Langat's going to win this. Alminova in 2nd, Zabriskie in 3rd, and then a tussle between the 2 Americans, with Donahue coming out the better at the end from Robery, and that was a very good run in the end, totally controlled in the end by Langat, the Olympic champion. She still hasn't broken form, and it's 4:07. Well, it was slow early on. It was bound to be down to the sprint finishes, Tim, and so it was, and that was a better run from Alminova. Disappointing Europeans from her, but that was better. But Langat once again dominant.
Yes, and her change of pace there was very impressive indeed. The last 300 was only around 45 seconds, so nothing particularly special, frankly, for athletes of this calibre. But she won going away, and to defeat a field of that calibre in a race as slow as this really does indicate, with a 10-metre margin, that you're operating at a different level altogether. Very, very impressive indeed. I'd love to see her break 4 minutes. She must be keen to do so, but if she keeps racking up wins like this, well, it will come, and I guess it's of secondary importance, frankly. Alminova, when you think about it, fastest woman in the world there in 2nd place, being left trailing by what? 5, 6, 7 metres come the line. Lisa Zabriskie coming through, found a bit of daylight on the inside to get 3rd spot. But Langat had the beating of that field very, very comfortably indeed. Now, Blanka Vlasic in this high jump. And Vlasic, first times at 185, 191. This is Vlasic at 194, just getting ready. First attempt for Vlasic at this height. Only 2 other athletes cleared 191. They were Beitir at the 2nd attempt and Gordieva at the 3rd attempt. So here she goes, the European champion, the undisputed world #1, it has to be said, despite the great performance of Chantay Lowe at various points this summer. Vlasic is by far the most consistent high jumper in the world at the moment. Yeah, lovely. And makes it look easy, doesn't she? She's a massive figure. 194 first time, maintains her clean card, and nobody else yet clear at this height. And only Beitir and Gordieva left in.
Still a little cool, the tracksuit bottoms on, but this is a woman who's attempted the world record 30 occasions in her career. 194 clearance. There's 3 first-time clearances, passed at 188, as you see. Well, the triple jump, Capello in the first round of the triple jump. 17-metre plus jumper at his best. Oh, that's nice. And that's over 17, as you can see. Well, very interesting to see how this goes. So Capello, world bronze medalist last year, second in Paris, third in Stockholm. 17:55 is best this season, incidentally. And that's just over 17, and it's come up on our computer at 17 meters and 2. Hits the board quite well, actually. Double arm shift in the middle, good hold in that centre phase, and then a good leg shoot at the end. Not bad. Conditions not absolutely perfect, but there it is, 17:02, and that is the lead, as you can see. Well, Christian Olsen, from August 2004 to March 2005, he was a reigning Olympic, world indoor, European and European indoor champion, and he's such a good competitor. And it's good to see he didn't go to the Europeans. He said, I've got an injury, I didn't want to upset my fitness, because I would have gone right back to square one. I wanted to get on and do something a little later in the season. He's been there before, he's been the European champion. It was nothing new for him, even if he'd won it. 16 meters and 94 up on our board, so that's going to put him in second place. Nice little hang at the end. Another little look at Olsen. Many fine competitions with Jonathan Edwards towards the end of Jonathan's career. There it is, 16:94.
Well, we can show the result of that women's 1500 metres. Nancy Langat winning very convincingly, over a second ahead of Alminova, the Kenyan. Lisa Zabriskie in third spot there. Place times obviously look very modest with that slow opening pace. And that's the price you pay. Steph Twell down in 13th despite a brave run. And the Diamond League standings now, with Nancy Langat racking up points race after race. Dominant totally, 17 points there out in front for the Kenyan. Over Almina was 8 points, with Burka in third on 7. Well, Paul Kipsiele-Koech winning late, 17.7 in that equally slow men's steeplechase from Kemboy and Kipruto. 1, 2, 3 for the Kenyans in that one, as expected. And there's the standings. Koech now does lead with 13 points. Kipruto's 10. Kemboy in 7 on third. The next event on the track, the men's 800 metres, and what a field we have here. The American champion Nick Simmons goes in lane 3, has that lane to himself, but it's a fairly crowded field, this. Some 12 starters in there, including Andrew Wheating of the USA, the new American middle distance find this year. Massive lad at 6'5", and he's run tremendously well all summer. Mike Rimmer, of course, the European Championship silver medalist for Great Britain, was so disappointed with that run 2 weeks ago in Barcelona. But he was beaten by the better man on the day, the Pole Lewandowski. There's Jaego and Wheating. Wheating is 6'5", as I said, towers over little Jaego there, who was one of the most consistent Kenyans on the circuit, former world champion. That was in 2007. There's Mike Rimmer, coached by Norman Poole, and he's had a lovely season. 5 times UK champion, second in those European Championships, Mike Rimmer. And he really has moved up a notch this year with a personal best of 1:44.49. But just a word of warning, there are 5 men in this field faster than Mike Rimmer this year. Amongst them, Kaki there to the left of picture, the pre-race favourite, surely. The world indoor champion in 2008 and earlier on this year. And Kaki, the second fastest in the world this year. Davis Robinson is the pacemaker, and it's planned to be quick. 49.4 they want at 400 metres. And 76 seconds at 600 metres. There's Niall Brooks, English junior champion. He's strong though, 3:38 for 1500 metres at Gateshead, the 19-year-old. He trains with Mike Rimmer, incidentally. Well, the fastest time in the world this year as they get underway is David Rudisha's 1:41. That was from Hoysden back in the 10th of July, almost exactly a month ago. I don't think we'll see that quick a race here tonight, but if Kaki goes with this pace, and that's him centred top of picture, then he could produce something down here in 1:43, 1:42 territory. Glorious conditions at Crystal Palace, frankly, now. Although it's a damp, cool evening, there's absolutely no wind at all. And certainly Robinson, who's almost the personal pacemaker for Kaki in race after race, who sits in second place. Robinson out in front has gone up very, very quickly indeed here. Mike Rimmer in that T-shirt that he always likes to wear under his vest, Stuart, in fourth place at the moment. But this is quick. Wheating, the tall figure there in green, with his compatriot right behind him, Nick Simmons there, the short of the two men in green. And this is very fast. 49.2 at 400 metres. Great pacemaking.
Yeah, Kaki was just a little bit off that, but that's fine. That's what he planned to do. He's a front runner at his best. I remember seeing him in the World Indoor Championships a couple of seasons ago. He ran that from the front. Kiplagat, the tall figure behind him, and then the taller figure of Andrew Wheating of the United States. He's coming very strongly indeed, and also Nick Simmons of the United States down the back straight. But this is going to be Kaki versus the rest, and he's not going to have it all his own way, I don't think.
Well, 200 metres to go, and 1:16 was the target, but Kaki looks like he's working to me. Wheating has moved up onto his shoulder. Kiplagat there in second place in the orange. Simmons is queuing up. They're all queuing up. Rimmer there on the inside. Has he got the legs? He hasn't got daylight, that's for sure. But Kaki has been saving a bit. I thought he had. The head rocking from side to side. Kicks away and stays 1.5 metres clear of Wheating. The American coming through in second place. Simmons in third. It's going to be quick. Watch the clock. 1:44.39. Wheating second behind Kaki. Simmons third. And the rest that come through there, surely under 1:45. Good packing down the home straight there. But Kaki, well, he looked to me like he was really struggling down the back straight there. Either he was feigning it or else he really was. Certainly he's way, way outside the sort of time he wanted to run there. He thumps the track, I think in frustration rather than with satisfaction at that win. Mike Rimmer just didn't have the legs here tonight, despite having the home crowd support, maybe a little bit of fatigue with taking that race on in Stockholm last week, Stuart.
Yes, indeed, and if you go back to Oslo, his 1:42.23 was the fastest ever time not to win a race. Kaki was behind Rudisha, the Kenyan, who very narrowly missed the world record just a couple of weeks or 3 weeks ago. But here he is struggling, you're quite right, he's rocking and rolling from side to side, and he was hurting, I can tell you. And it's a very good run by Andy Wheating of the United States, and also Nick Simmons, the two Americans going very strongly indeed here. And Kaki was delighted that the line arrived, I can tell you. He was hurting.
Well, that was a personal best run from Wheating. Kaki there, very run-of-the-mill time for him. He's run almost 2 seconds quicker than that 1:44.38. But Wheating in second, Simmons in third. And as Stuart said, the Americans going really well at the moment. Their middle and long-distance scene going through a rejuvenation. Well, the rain has stayed away despite the threatening clouds.
Well, this is Tam Go, a man who set the world alight in the triple jump in the World Indoor Championship, set a world indoor record, 17.90. Then was only 2 centimetres off 18 metres in New York. Hasn't found the form that showed him his way to those big distances. That was ragged, very ragged indeed. He's got such awesome talent that he's trying very, very hard. And really, if he could just relax, then the performances might well come. But that was very ragged. Not good at all. Hits the board or thereabouts, stumbles a little bit towards the board, and then that, look at that, is standing up. That was, if I underline that with the word dreadful, that would probably be kind. That wasn't very good at all. Much more left in the tank there. There's 16.67, and it was awful.
Well, we do know he's been suffering from injury problems as Teddy Tamgo. Maybe they've taken their toll, but Philip Zidowu, his season going from strength to strength. Likes to put out a big one in the first round, Zidowu, if he can. But conditions here tonight, well, perhaps a little bit slippery on that runway for these men, and you can't afford to slip with the force they put through each stage. No, a very, very short middle phase there. It snatched at it, did Zidowu, and that way below 17 metres. Poor by his standards. It's probably one of the most modest openers he's recorded for a while. It's under 16.50, I think. He has that gold medal from the Europeans. He has his world indoor title and his world outdoor title over the last 12 months. He's had a marvellous, marvellous year. Calendar year, that is. from Barcelona going backwards. That board moving a great deal, wasn't it? As he hit it, but that's Florido with just 16.36. There's plenty more to come from him, and indeed Tamgo.
It's difficult to get up for these competitions after a major championship, so you need a little bit of a rest. And Aston Moore, his coach, having a word with him. Aston himself, a former British triple jump champion, and his son also a very fine athlete in the jumps as well. Just rehearsing. This is a third-time attempt by Ruth Beitia of Spain at 1.94 m. Needs this to stay in. Well, nowhere near that. So she's gone. Third-time clearance at 1.91. Gordieva, third time at 1.94 too, so they're all falling at this height. It's proving difficult out there tonight. Oh, that was close, but she's gone. She's gone, and that means that Blanka Vlasic is the only one left in this competition. She's gone, so she's in third place. Beitia will be in second place by virtue of countback. And now Blanka Vlasic, look at all those first-time clearances. We've come to expect that now. 1.98, she's been over this height many, many times. And this is her first attempt. Blanka Vlasic, the European champion. The one she missed was the Olympics. Got beaten there by a Belgian high jumper. And it was a big, big surprise. And really, it would be very, very nice if she could win that Olympic title from her point of view. It's the only one missing, really. Totally dominant this season, and that's another one too. So she's won 1.98. She knows that she's got maximum points. Totally unbeaten this season, incidentally. Just looking down, she was she was second in Barcelona, actually, not the European Championships, a meet in Barcelona where she was second. But apart from that, she's won pretty well everything. 2.02 she's been jumping in the Diamond League competitions thus far. She's very tall, looking confident. Looks to have a bit more edge tonight, I must say. 1.98 then. Fourth clearance, fourth first-time clearance.
Well, uncharacteristically poor jump competition tonight from Shante Lowe. She was sixth with 3 failures at 1.91. Now Christian Olsen in this triple jump competition. Third round for the Swede. That's better, that's much better. 16.94 is opener. No jump in the second round, but that's big. That's way beyond 17 metres for the Swede. And for a man who some had virtually written off with the injury problems he's had over the last couple of years, well, this is some comeback, I have to say. From August 2004 to March 2005, he was reigning Olympic, world indoor, European and European indoor champion. He'd taken everything that was open to him. Missed Barcelona because of this awkward injury to his right foot. He said, I didn't want to risk going back to square one. A little bit puzzling when you think that he jumped just a few days after Barcelona in Stockholm, and again here tonight. 17.41, takes a comfortable lead.
Well, there's the update on the result of the 800 metres. Kaki from Wheating from Simmons, 1:44.38. The time, there the rest. Just having a look at the heats of the 100-metre hurdles which took place earlier on, and this was Sally Pearson of Australia winning that quite comfortably from Queen Harrison of the United States, and Perdita Felicien in third place, and the first three to go through to the final. In the second heat, of course, we had Lolo Jones of the United States. Lopez Schleep of Canada came through on this very strongly. I had just alongside Lolo Jones there. Lopez Schleep wins it. Jones in second place. Ginny Crawford actually crawling into third place there. And so they were the three qualifiers by right. And so let's have a look at the start list for this final. Carruthers drawn in 1. Bukasevich in 2, Pearson 3, Jones 4, Lopez Schleep 5, Harrison 6, Crawford 7, Felicien in lane 8. Well, on the near side is Daniela Carruthers of the United States. Has a good season thus far, just a lapse in Stockholm. She's done some very fine running already this season. Carruthers, best of 12.68. Lukasevich in the second lane, 12.78 her best. Now here's the Olympic silver medalist. She's just come onto the scene in the last couple of races. The Oceania record holder, 12.57, but she ran 12.57 in Stockholm and 12.59 in Lucerne. But Lolo Jones, twice the world indoor champion. She's the reigning champion, defended her title in Doha earlier on this season. Should have won the Olympic title, but stumbled off the last hurdle, or the last but one. Priscilla Lopez-Schleep of Canada, Olympic bronze medalist, world silver medalist last year. Very sturdy, was second in Stockholm. Queen Harrison of the United States, her best 12.61. Collegiate champion this year in both hurdles, incidentally, the 100-metre hurdles and the 400-metre hurdles in the United States. And Ginny Crawford, drawn in the outside lane. Ginny, twice the American champion, 12.63 this season. And Felicien, Perdita Felicien, right on the outside of this. The world champion in 2003, got a silver medal in Osaka in 2007. So Carruthers, Lukasevich, Pearson, Jones, Lopez-Schleep, Harrison, Crawford and Felicien. The women's 100-metre hurdles final. Oh, Pearson got a very good start again, very good start, and she's leading this race considerably. Lopez-Schleep in second place at the moment, Lola Jones coming through, but Pearson going well. Lopez-Schleep coming through very strongly in the end, and Lopez-Schleep gets it from Pearson in second, Jones in third. It was quick too, 12.52, what about that? That was a sensational run by Lopez-Schleep, Priscilla Lopez-Schleep of Canada. A brilliant, brilliant run indeed. And that was a surprise because Sally Pearson run away brilliantly there, world leading time. What a race that was. Terrific run. She looked good in the heat certainly, but Pearson looked better, but not in the final. Wow, 12.52. Meeting record to boot.
Well, I can't believe that they actually caught Sally Pearson. Lopez-Schleep must have come through like a train in the second half. She got a wonderful start to the Australian. Spoke to Sally earlier on this afternoon in the hotel. She was very bubbly and happy with her recent form. She's been running superbly, very consistently. Third from right there. Look at the start she got. She tore away from Vukicevic, second to right. She's got a good lead here. But they do work hard to come back at her from here on. Lola Jones never lets up on the pressure. And Lopez-Schleep just begins to claw her back around that barrier and then that penultimate barrier. There she goes, wins it actually, going away. Pearson, I think, maybe shocked herself at how far ahead she was after a couple of flights. Look at it from the side. She's got a good lead here. Lola Jones hurdling very well between these two. The times are quick behind Lopez-Schleep's win, but gosh, did the Canadian get on top of the barrier as well there. Very, very quick snap with that lead leg. Drags the lead leg, the trail leg through very fast too. And she's quick between the barriers, we know that. 12.52, as you said, Stuart, fastest time in the world this year and a meeting record. Confirmation of the win for the Canadian. Sally Pearson in second place, 12.61. Lola Jones, 12.66 in third. Times are quick.
Well, there you've got the three results. And the points, Lola Jones 14. Look at that, Lopez-Schleep now 14, so it's getting tough. Pearson's only run a couple of races, so I'm not surprised she's down there in third with 6 points. But what a good run by Lopez-Schleep. That for me was the performance of the night thus far. Well, the high jump now, Blanka Vlasic. a one-time failure at 2:01. It's a second attempt. It's just her first failure of the night, really, and going very, very well indeed. Let's see how she can do in this second attempt then. 2 meters and 1. Oh yes! Oh yes! Well, that's absolutely superb. Much enjoyed by the crowd. That's another win. I mean, she's already won the event at 198, but thoroughly enjoying this. Very tall. Not a particularly quick approach, it's very rangy, but look at that inside knee. It drives high, drives the bend into the back, gets the heels out of the way quickly. Real attack of the bar. Wonderful stuff. There's more left, I think. Oh, 2:04, she says. Signalling to 2:04. And that would certainly be her best for the season, her best this season, 2:03.
Well, the lineup for the next event on the track, the women's 200 metres. What a quality field this is. Allyson Felix there in lane 4. Has lost just once this year. She's the Diamond League leader, the American. That's a good draw for her too. Outside her, the Olympic silver medalist at 100 metres, Karen Stewart of Jamaica. And inside her, the European Championship silver medalist from Ukraine, Brilliontovaya. Here's Abia Yepitan of Great Britain. She was 7th in the Olympic Games in 2004 over this distance, 200, but it's had a dreadful time with a lot of injuries in the years since. Now 30 years old, and she keeps plugging away, but the injuries persist. Sharon Simpson, Olympic silver medalist, shared that Olympic silver medal with Karen Stewart, her Jamaican teammate. She goes in 2. Brilliontovaya, the European Championship silver medalist, took a gold in the sprint relay as well for Russia. She goes in lane 3. Both her parents are Olympic champions from the bygone eras. There is Allyson Felix. Lost only once this year. That was to Veronica Campbell-Brown in New York, over 200 metres. Since then, it's been win, win, win. She's won 8 out of 9 finals this year, most recently in Stockholm. There's Karen Stewart, World Championship silver medalist at 100 metres last year. Injured mid-season until recently, but was only 5th in Lucerne over 100 last week. Bianca Knight goes in lane 6 for the USA. Former World Youth Champion, the winner at Gateshead over this distance a few weeks back, and 3rd in Stockholm 1 week ago. Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie goes in lane 7, the World Champion way back in 2001, the Bahamian. 34 years old now, but she trains with Veronica Campbell-Brown and a little bit rejuvenated this year, although she was only 6th in Stockholm. And the lineup completed by Sidonie Mothersill of the Cayman Islands, 8th in the Olympic final in Beijing, and has missed a lot of the big meets this year. Recently has raced in Tangiers and in the Central American and Caribbean Games over 200 metres, where she took victory. But this will be an interesting one. Watch Brilliontovaya in lane 3, the European Championship silver medalist from Ukraine. She now has exactly the same personal best at 200 metres as her mother. It's 22:44, and in Barcelona she anchored Ukraine to gold in the sprint relay. Felix in 4, Stewart in 5. Watch Felix though in 4. She'd probably be trailing round the bend. And away they go. Actually not a bad start at all from Felix. She's left Brilliontovaya with a lot to do, and moving up on Brilliontovaya is Simpson in lane 2. Felix leading though, she's very quickly up, and Karen Stewart outside her. This is a great bend from Felix. She's got a 400 metre run of strength. Look out in lane 6 there. Bianca Knight's had a great bend too. Knight in 2nd place in the blue, but Felix streaming clear. It's 3, 4 metres, 5 metres nearly at the line there. In 2nd place was Bianca Knight. In 3rd place, I think, was Ferguson-McKenzie out in lane 7. The time 22:37, and that from Allyson Felix with a very slight following wind. Was very, very impressive indeed. She ran a very aggressive bend, started well for her. She is a sub-11 second sprinter in the 100, but she's not renowned for her quick starts. But her pickup was great, led around the bend into the straight. She just built up on that lead and that was a very convincing win. And with that victory, I'm sure, Stuart, she confirms herself as Diamond League champion for this year. I think she's just about uncatchable.
Yes, she is. I'm surprised how quickly she caught Karen Stewart, the Jamaican, who's a very fine 100-metre sprinter. But certainly Bianca Knight of the United States has got a lot of credit. She came off the bend very, very strongly indeed. But Felix, her transition was terrific. And when she got into the straight, she just flowed. She absolutely flowed. Way, way ahead of the rest of this field, whereas Knight is beginning to tie up as Ferguson McKenzie comes through on her, but too late. And then it was a very, very fine bend indeed, and Felix is a class act. You have to say that she's won, 6 World Championship gold medals outdoors, 3 at 200, 3 in relays, and we may yet see her best at 400 metres. She's a sub-50-second 400-metre runner, and the real talent. She just flows high on the toes, hips high, perfect relaxation, brilliant. Look at this, how more relaxed can you be? Her face looks totally relaxed, deep in concentration. Wonderful, wonderful piece of sprinting. Great bend, she's got away well, transition brilliant, into the straight, got even better.
Well, talk about rubbing salt into the wounds of her rivals there. She just went further and further away as the line got closer, didn't she? The skies darken here at Crystal Palace, but the crowds stay on for the remaining events. The 100 metres final will close the evening with Tyson Gay in wonderful form. But the field events continue.
Well, it continues too in the triple jump, the third round of the jump. Tamgo. I have a feeling this is his first round jump. We're just looking back at him there. That was his first round jump, in fact. So we'll come back to that other jump. His jump went a little while ago, so we'll bring you up to date with that in a moment. Olsen leading the competition with 17:41. This is a man who's done 17:90. That was awful. Way off the board. His technique has totally fallen apart since New York, at which point I thought, my goodness me, Jonathan Edwards' world record has gone. Well, it was the first round at 16:67. So let's go and see Vlasic in the high jump now. 2:04, remember, she asked for in the high jump. Let's see what she can do here. She's dominated this competition, certainly, and I just wonder whether she can clear this 2 meters and 4. She's had 2 failures, of course. She's won the competition earlier on at 1:98, second time clearance at 2:01, and Vlasic a third and final at 2:04. No, but nevertheless a dominant piece of high jumping today. Shanti Lowe way below par, and her coach must be happy.
Well, confirmation of that win for Blanka Vlasic, 2 meters and 1 centimeter, winning by several heights over Ruth Batira, Spain, with Gordieva in third place for Russia, a long way down. And overall, of course, Blanka Vlasic dominating the high jump more than in any other discipline. I think her lead, 24 points to Shanti Lowe's 10. She had a bad night, the American tonight. Batira in third.
Well, the women out for what should be a very, very good 5,000 metres. There's pacemaking on the record here, and it's got a very, very distinguished field indeed, including Tiranish Dibaba of Ethiopia, the world record holder. And of course, Dafar isn't here. That's a shame. There's the lineup as we go through the list. Freya Murray, the Scot, Emily Pigeon of England, Kiplagat, Antonay, we must watch for her. Ejigu, she'll be there or thereabouts, the Ethiopian, the bottom of that page. Let's have a look at the rest. Augusto, of course, we've seen her in Europe. Kipyego, Kurikyang, Chirono, there's Tiranish Dibaba, and Linat Masai, what about that? And Vivian Cheriot, there are 3 in a row there, and they'll be right on the outside. Police has got the job of pacemaking. They want laps of 69 seconds. They're looking for around about 14:20 if they can get there, and that's very, very quick indeed. The world best is 14:27.41 by Vivian Chariot, set in the Paris Diamond League. Masai, what a talent, world 10,000 metre champion. She outkicked the Ethiopians. Dibaba, well, Olympic champion at 5 and 10,000 metres. What a talent, and she's got such terrific speed on the end of these longer races, and she said she spends so much time working on it. Chirono, world youth and twice world junior champion at 3,000 metres. That was in 2007. There's Augusto, the Portuguese, European 10,000 metre bronze medalist this year. Ejigu, we mustn't forget Ejigu, world indoor bronze medalist at 3,000 metres this year. It's a very, very talented field, this. Hurdle and Fleshman. The United States. Kiplagat. Florence Kiplagat, world cross-country champion last year. First Kenyan woman to win the race for a long, long time. Freya Murray, Emily Pidgeon there, the two Britons. Noah Woona. Right on the inside. Alice, best of 15:16.74. She's only 16, incidentally, the girl on the right of your shot. I call her a girl deliberately. Only 16 years old. And we'll see who's going to take this one on. 12.5 laps of the track, 5,000 metres. And we'll keep a look at the split times. And one would expect this to go off pretty quickly indeed, as Police takes it underway. And we'll see whether the rest of the field respond to this. Tim Hutchins alongside me, a former fourth placer in the Los Angeles over this event, and I mean the race itself, it's always difficult to tell how it'll go. They don't look as though they're going to go with the pace here, Tim.
They don't know, and it's such a strong field, Stuart. You could argue that this is probably the strongest field of the night, in fact. And I wonder if they are just going to watch each other. There's a lot of jostling for position there. They appear to not want to commit. You can see Police has gone through there. They go through in about 37 seconds. The pack very slow indeed. Clearly, Dibaba values her win-loss record more than she does running a quick time and losing. And that's to be expected, but it's awkward. It's always awkward running at this sort of speed, because sometimes it's easier. You feel more comfortable being able to stride out and move at a good tempo than you do cutting your stride and virtually jogging by your own standards in a very crowded, tight-knit pack.
Well, yeah, the fourth round of the triple jump now. Li of China.
Yes, here's Li. And he opened modestly, 16:35. He's in fourth place, Li. That looks a bit better, a little bit better. It's around, what, 16:50, 16:60, looks like something like that. So Li here doesn't look overly delighted with it, does he? And his best, he's a 17:59 jumper. That was last year. He's the Asian record holder as the Chinese. Only fourth in the Chinese championships recently, but that's certainly an improvement. Very good on the board. Good height there. Quite nice rhythm. Double arm shoot into the pit there. And that one for Li is an improvement indeed. 16:67. Fourth place still, but it's the season's best for the Chinese. Philip Sudowu, well, not a good night for the European champion, the world champion as yet. Just one valid mark. This round 4, 16:36 in the opening round. 2 failures after that. He looks very, very lackluster, doesn't he? There's just no energy there in that middle phase. No urgency or aggression. He looks totally deflated, I have to say, and this is very, very common. You can't really criticise athletes for it. The emotional drain of a major championships is absolutely massive. It is very hard to lift yourself, sometimes for a number of weeks after the championships. Indeed, you quite often get athletes who just hang up their competition shoes for the rest of the year once they've got that desperately sought-after gold medal. Very, very poor by Phillips' own standards. Gets the mark, but that one at about 16.5 metres. 16:54, in fact, there it is again. Back to coach, but frankly, he's a metre down on what he would be doing if this mattered half as much as those events in Barcelona a fortnight ago. Now Teddy Tamgo, certainly an improvement from the Frenchman there. 17:21 in round 3. This is round 4. Remember, he's chasing the 17:41 of Christian Olsen, which was in round 3. The Swede leading by 20 centimetres. Tamgo there. No, he knows it's not good enough. If he thought it was close to the 17.5 metre line, and that's roughly what he needs, he'd be up there waiting for the measurement with a lot more anticipation, a lot more eagerness. Chops the stride there. The first couple of phases, not particularly strong. Very good final phase. He has got such superb power. Said he chopped the stride, and even then didn't get onto the board. Still very untidy. He's got raw talent, 6 back on it, and yet still produces a big jump there. Does Tamgo? It is an improvement, 17.27, but he stays in second with Olsen on 17.41. Well, Łukasz Michalski then in this pole vault competition, and the conditions certainly have affected the field. I can tell you that La Villani, the world #1, has gone out at the opening height. He couldn't produce a height at all, La Villani. Failed his opening height, but that from Michalski, third time clearance at 5.71. He struggled from earlier on. He had a second time attempt at 5.51, which was good, then a second time clearance at 5.61. Derek Miles incidentally cleared 5.61 at the first attempt. Michalski was in second place at that point. They're the only 2 men who went clear at 5.61. It really is a depleted competition because of the conditions, I think. Steve Lewis clearing his opening height 5.31 at the third attempt, and then had 3 failures at 5.51. The British #1, he's down in 6th. But that from Michalski, well, good enough for the victory. And look at the celebration. That's lovely to see. The crowd there can almost reach out and touch those men. Only 7th in the European Championships. Well, this is some night for the 22-year-old Pole. He's their champion indoors and out, and tonight the winner here at Crystal Palace. Confirmation of the win by 10 centimetres there for Poland's Łukasz Michalski from Derek Miles. Szawinski making it a Polish sandwich with 3rd place. And look at that, Hooker no mark, La Villani no mark. The top 2 vaulters in the world, very uncomfortable tonight. Well, now does that leave things overall? La Villani still way out in front despite tonight's disappointment. 16 points to the Frenchman. Multimore in second place with 7. Michalski, after 4 points tonight, on 5 in 3rd place.
For the last 1,000 metres, 2:59.57, 5:55.84, and Augusto is the leading athlete there, along with Kipyego of Kenya. They've all closed down a little bit at the moment. I can see Chariot there just sitting in very comfortably indeed. Huddle, the American, is also there. There's Dibaba, there's Masai following Dibaba. So it's all of a sudden begun to sort of string out a little bit, but the race is still yet to evolve. Augusto, second in the European Cross-Country Championships a couple of seasons ago. Remember, she won the bronze in the 10,000 of the Europeans recently. She's the steeplechase champion. There she is on the right of your shot. Kipyego there, winner of a record equaling 9 US collegiate titles, incidentally, representing Texas Tech University. There's Chariot. Remember that race against Defar in Oslo just, 2-3 seasons ago now, where they broke the world record. They both went inside the previous world record on that occasion. But Augusto is a good quality European athlete, but I would expect her to be run down in the end. Dibaba's been sitting back there. Ejigu is also there. Dibaba with Masai, that tall figure behind her. And the race, well, there are about, 7 or 8 of them, probably a little more, got away.
Well, good to see Augusto pushing it along like that. She moves wide there to allow Kipyego to come through and take on some of those pacemaking duties, which she does. But at least they're shunting it down here towards the respectable territory, Stuart. Almost exactly 3 minutes for that first kilometre, then a 2:54 for the second kilometre, and I'm sure this third kilometre will reflect a significant acceleration through to 3,000 metres. We're looking for something like 8:50 at 3,000 here. And Augusto here, at least wanting to make, as was Steph Twell in that 1,500 metres earlier on tonight, at least wanting to make the rest of this field, this very, very strong field with Tirunesh Dibaba, perhaps the favourite as Olympic champion, work for their reward here.
Well, with the race beginning to unfold now, Augusto has been run down a little bit. Sally Kipyego, she's got a best of 14:54.50. That was set this season, so she's full of confidence. It's a good season for her. Augusto in second place, Chariot in third, Ejigu in fourth, Dibaba in fifth. And then Huddle, the American, who had the lead for so long. Masai is there as well. And a little look over the shoulder by Kipyego saying to Augusto, you're going to come and do a little bit of work again. Chariot's a good athlete in third place. She really is the world champion at 5,000 metres last season, a 58.62 last lap. And of course, if the race is slow, this is the sort of athlete that can attack you. But also, Tim, you mentioned Dibaba. Dibaba, double Olympic champion. She's got terrific pace on the last lap. There she is on last lap of any race. She says, I work specifically on speed. I really do. She's got great strength endurance. She's got great speed endurance. Masai, the tall figure. What a race she had, winning the world 10,000 metre title in Berlin last year.
Yes, it was interesting, wasn't it? The events 12 months ago in Berlin, where the Kenyans, on a rare occasion, had the better of the Ethiopians. Dibaba was certainly below par. I wonder if she's got her full force back tonight. We haven't seen much of her this year. She's raced very, very sparingly, frankly. Recently won the African 10,000 metre title at altitude in Nairobi. But only 3 races outdoors this year from Tirunesh Dibaba. Whether or not she's on purpose, having a fallow year, a rest year in between the World Championship seasons, with, of course, these next 2 years, 2011 with the World Championships in Daegu and then the Olympic Games in London in 2012, being of massive importance. Certainly Usain Bolt has emphasised how he really hasn't trained that hard this year. He was trying to make this year a bit of an off-season, despite coming out and having a few races. And I think there might be 1 or 2 other athletes thinking in a similar way, without a major target this year. And certainly the Africans don't regard the African Championships as anything like as important as the Worlds or Europeans, or Worlds or Olympics rather. I think Dibaba taking an easy year. But you mentioned Vivian Chariot, with that very quick finishing pace shown in Berlin last year to lift the world 5,000 metres title. She's one athlete who I think at her best can match the best of Dibaba. When Dibaba's really on song, Chariot can match her stride for stride, and it'll be interesting to see how this one unfolds tonight.
Yes, it will. Masai, the tall figure, has taken it over. Ejigu in second place at the moment. Chariot in third place as they come into the straight once again. Dibaba there hovering, she's the one with the finish. She certainly has. Masai, the 10,000 metre specialist, has really got to push it along, as one would expect. And Chirono is there as well, the tall figure. Right on the inside, Kipyego in the green strip. We've seen her several times before. 3 laps to go in this 5,000 metres, and it really is now beginning to open up. The early leaders, Huddle and Augusto, have been run down, as one would expect. And I would expect Dibaba to make some sort of attack now. She's in 4th place. She's behind Chariot, behind Vivian Chariot of Kenya. Kipyego behind her. Just slowing down slightly, just allowing the rest to catch up again. But I just wonder now, who will make the play? Masai sitting in. Ejigu in second place, the world indoor bronze medalist at 3,000, 4th in the world indoor 3,000 and world 5,000 metres last season, 4th in the indoor in 2006. It's beginning to open out now. Chariot looks strong, doesn't she? Kore Kwiang of Kenya, the tall figure, also there as well. But Dibaba moving out now, looking to make some play. She moves up now. Dibaba now moving to the front behind Chariot. Masai's now been enveloped. She's on the inside. Ejigu in third place. And it's now beginning to wind up just a little bit now. Certainly Vivian Chariot, she's got a finish as well. She's lost only to Tirunesh Dibaba this season. She's had a very good season indeed. Ejigu now moving up into third place. Tim, I tell you what, this race is going to be a quick finish, isn't it?
Well, it is, because they really haven't worked through the middle stages. I thought that we might have seen something a bit quicker when we saw Augusto leading in the middle of the race, but 2:59, 2:54, 2:59 for those first 3 kilometres, and then this 4th kilometre rather, at 11:52 is only at 2:58. So they have just let the laps click by one after the other and decided to go for what is in effect a middle distance type race here with just a little bit of fatigue in the legs. Who's got the quickest speed over the last 400 or 500? Significant that Dibaba now moves to the front. If you're going to have a sprint over the last lap, you might as well be a metre in front rather than a metre behind.
Well, she certainly is the sprint finisher, that's for sure. Chariot's responding too. Dibaba leads, Ejigu in second, Chariot in third, Masai in fourth, and Kipyego in fifth place, but they're now beginning to string out, and Dibaba embarks on one of those fierce last laps, and can she hold on? What about Chariot? Chariot looks full of running. Ejigu also very confident. She's a 14:28 athlete at her best, and these three away from the rest of the field now. About 250 metres to go. Now Chariot, has she got enough to come back at Dibaba? Dibaba has gone off very, very quickly, full of confidence as always. She says, I can finish how I like, when I like, but I wonder if she can on this occasion with about 150 to go. Chariot all of a sudden grimaces, and look at this from Dibaba coming into the straight. Ejigu's beaten, she's going to be third. Tiranish Dibaba comes away, she's not going to be caught. Another brilliant run by the double Olympic champion. Look at this. Dibaba wins it. Chariot in second place, Ejigu in third place, then Kipyego in fourth, Masai in fifth, and then in sixth place, Korikwang of Kenya, the former world junior cross-country champion. But my goodness me, 14:36.42, it certainly speeded up. 58 seconds for the last 400 metres for Dibaba, and that was a terrific run in the end. Tim, your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I thought Chariot might hang on to a bit better than that, but she is so strong. Her speed endurance is quite astonishing. She is, after all, double Olympic champion. She was sprinting flat out down the back straight and was hardly showing any effort, and then round the bend just maintained it. And it's like you keep banging somebody with a stick, eventually they will give in. Bang, bang, bang. Every 15 metres she keeps pushing. Chariot looks so comfortable down the back straight. I thought she might move onto the shoulder of Dibaba, but she just never let up. Her determination and her fluency through the last 300 metres was absolutely staggering. I got her last lap at around 58 seconds. It might even have been under 58 seconds, but she won comfortably.
Well, what about Philip Sado then? What can he do? The final round in sixth place at the moment. A man who won the European title with 17 metres and 81, a personal best. He's the championship man. Some tired legs out there. Really hits that, but that's nowhere near 17 metres, and that's a very tired Philip Sado landing in the sand. We don't see that very often, but nevertheless well received by this huge crowd here at Crystal Palace. Brilliant performance in Barcelona, but it's nice just to see him compete. It really is very, very nice indeed to see him compete. Have another little look at that. Sixth place for Ado, 16:51 that jump. It really, forward rotation, collapsed into the pit, and Christian Olsen has taken it with that 17-metre-41 jump. We saw that earlier on in the programme. Tamgo in second place with 17:27.
Well, you're right, Stuart. He did look very tired indeed, didn't he? Consistent series from Olsen, but about from Idowu, but about a metre down on what you'd expect. Chance to catch up on the women's 200 metres result. Alison Felix there, 22:37. Debbie Ferguson McKenzie, 22:88, about 4 or 5 metres down. Sharon Simpson for Jamaica in third place. Wonderful run from the American. Well, one final event on the track, and that's the men's 100 metres final to crown this first of 2 days here at Crystal Palace National Sports Centre. This the 12th of 14 stops, or 14 meetings on the Samsung Diamond League. And Tyson Gay, so much the draw card here after 1 week ago. You could almost say thrashing Usain Bolt in Stockholm. You've seen him beat Asafa Powell on a couple of occasions this summer already. Tyson Gay, then the favourite, goes in lane 4 in this men's 100 metres final. Look out too, though, for Walter Dix, who's been in great form this year, and Richard Thompson too in lane 3. Will try to match the American every step of the way. He's the third fastest man in the world this year on paper, is Tyson Gay, but he's beaten both Powell and Bolt now. There's Troll Kimmins. He goes in lane 1 as the American. 4th in his heat. He got through as the fastest loose with 10.25. Jamie Samuels goes in lane 2. The American who got through by right here, but it's very much an outsider, it has to be said. Then the Trinidadian, Richard Thompson, 2nd in his heat in 10.14, and 3rd in Stockholm last week behind Gay and Bolt. There is Tyson Gay. The world number 1, well, he probably is, frankly, and holding back those injuries at the moment, which have taken both Powell and Bolt out of this season so far. Bolt has hung his spikes up. Powell was meant to race tonight, couldn't make it. Walter Dix, well, he's better over 200 metres, frankly, is Dix, but he is a 9.88 man, and that this year, if he starts well, he could be dangerous. Johan Blake, well, this could be the biggest danger. He's just 20 years old, is Blake, coached by Glenn Mills, and Mills coaches one Usain Bolt, so don't ride off the young Jamaican. He's in 6th. Wallace Spearman goes in lane 7. He's a 9.96 man Spearman, but very much a 200 metre specialist. Bronze medalist last year at the World Championships in Berlin over the longer sprints. And then Mike Rogers in lane 8 completes the lineup. Rogers, well, 9.94 last year. He was only 3rd in his heat here in 10.22, so not really firing on all cylinders, and frankly has had a very reduced season from a racing perspective. But Tyson Gay, former world champion at 100 metres and 200 metres, he'll want to regain those titles which he won in Osaka in 2007, and of course he heads out to Asia again next year, barring injury, for those world championships in Daegu. In very, very good form so far. Wins in Gateshead, beating Powell. Won in Monaco over 200 metres, and then won in Stockholm last week, beating Usain Bolt. He's in wonderful shape. Is the Kentucky-born American in lane 4. The lineup again from the inside. Trell Kimmins in 1, Jamie Samuels in 2, Thompson in 3, Gay 4, Dix 5, Blake 6, watch him, Spearman 7, Rogers in lane 8. Gay in the yellow there in lane 4. Well, not a bad start from Gabe, although he did stumble a little bit there. Coming back at him now is Thomas on the far side, and going well on this side too is Blake in yellow, but Gabe's going to take this one. The margin there about a metre at the line, 9.78. It's the fastest time in the world this year. Into a slight headwind, can you believe? Minus 0.4 the headwind, but Gay had to work for it because young Johan Blake will have run a very fast time here tonight as well, probably a personal best. He's been in great form, the young Jamaican, and Gay certainly had to work to keep him at bay, holding the groin there again. I think when he really exerts himself, this man, when he really stretches, didn't have Powell or Bolt up against him, he was able to run there without any of that sort of pressure, then he does succumb to injury. 9.78 confirmed, the fastest time in the world this year, and a new meeting record, and indeed, young Johan Blake for Jamaica, 9.89 for 2nd place, a new personal best. They were way ahead of 3rd place. What a run, he just goes from strength to strength.
Well, Gay got away well here, so did Blake on the near side, but this is where Tyson Gay's at his best. Once he's ahead and he starts to work on that speed endurance, and he really pounded away, didn't he? Blake looks good, doesn't he, too? Coming through very strongly, but 9.78, and that's unofficial at the moment, is absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look from the other side. Comes up very, very slowly. Gay just gets up onto his toes, blasts away. Look at that, he's spreading away from this field beautifully. High on his hips. Beautiful arm action, typical sprinting technique of a man who's read the textbooks. Wins it comfortably in the end, just comes up slowly, very slowly, doesn't look up too quickly. When he gets up, the pressure's on. He only takes a couple of breaths. Look at him holding his breath, it's all anaerobic stuff here. Now he's breathing, looking at the line, anxious to get there, and my goodness me, he got there very, very quickly indeed at 9.78, and that is a truly magnificent piece of running, piece of sprinting, power sprinting all the way with terrific dexterity. He's got it all.
Well, let's hope this ebb and flow of the sprint scene comes to a climax next year in Daegu. Tyson Gay winning then, 9.78, the fastest time in the world this year. Johan Blake, great progress from the young Jamaican, 9.89. Richard Thompson, 10.05 for 3rd.
Well, my goodness me, look at that. They're the three places, and we'll have a look at the overall Diamond League standings, the Samsung Diamond League standings, and in a moment. But certainly there's no absolute clear favourite in this. Asafa Pal's got 10, was injured and couldn't come here, but look at that, there are two guys closing him down. It's going to all depend on the next couple of meets, isn't it? Gay and Thompson there on 8 points, with Bolt on 6. He takes no further part in the competition. Olivan Sands, the 6th and final jump in this triple jump. 2003 World and 2008 Olympic bronze medalist. Oh, no. But Sands, well short of 17 metres, applauding the crowd because they've been very attentive in the home straight. It's going to be around about 16.50, probably a bit more. Hits the board well, holds his position in the middle. A little bit untidy at the end, but not too bad. 16.67, 16.52 in fact, coming up on the board. So 16.52, he's going to stay, in 5th place? Yeah, there's the confirmation. 16.50, only had 2 jumps and called no jumps, incidentally, so lacking in discipline now for the moment. The crowd still buzzing after that 100 metres final. A wonderful, wonderful performance by Tyson Gay of the United States. Well, we've seen the result up on your screen, but we'll look back at what Tango did on the 6th. We'll have a look at that result again in a moment, but this is Tango. And that's just over 17 metres. Now that, he's chasing 17.41. And I reckon that's over 17.20-ish. Capable, much more than that, of course. Hits that well. That's better, actually. That's his best jump. A little bit untidy in the 3rd phase, but it's his best jump of the series, it looks to me, technically. Really has to work hard. Falls a little bit away to the side, but not too bad. He's such a talent, and I can see him going much further. There it is, 17 metres and 27 that was. That was a jump, that was his best jump. It was his 4th round. You saw on that caption there, his 5th 17.22, his 6th at 17.12. So he's beginning to put together a good series. But Christian Olsen, now, this is his 6th round. He'll go for this, I would think. Really accelerates into the board, doesn't he? He may well have got a red flag there, and it's not going to be his best jump anyway. But he thanks the crowd as well. It's gone up as a no jump, but he's won it with 17.41. You've got a brief glimpse of the result on your screen there, but we will bring you up to date with that in a moment. Very good win by Christian Olsen, 17 metres and 41. There it is. That's the margin by which it was a no jump. Tamgo in 2nd, Capello in 3rd, Lee in 4th. Well, there is 2 jumps there, Tim. I'm just wondering whether we can get the caption of that result of the triple jump on the screen before we go, because just to confirm all the places there. But Olsen definitely won it. There it is for you, 17.41, season's best actually for Christian Olsen. Tamgo, Capello, Lee, Sands, Idowu, Valjukovic and Nathan Douglas. That completes the field. Good competition in the end.
And overall, of course, Tamgo leading with 10 points from Capello's 9. Olsen, though, moves up to 3rd place with the 4 points earned from tonight. He has 8 in total. Well, several events affected badly by damp and slippery conditions here at Crystal Palace tonight. But one man certainly not affected by those conditions was Tyson Gay. It's surely the performance of the night. That's a 9.78 of Tyson Gay is confirmed, the fastest time in the world this year. Lopez Schleep for the women was the performance of the night too, perhaps for them. World lead of 12.52 in the 100-metre hurdles. Vlasic 2:01 in the high jump. Alison Felix, remember, great 200, 22:37. And the next Diamond League event, well, of course, it's tomorrow here at Crystal Palace, day 2 of the London meeting. It'll be followed by Zurich next week and then Brussels the following week. Those are the 2 finals where double points are earned for all competitors in these Diamond League disciplines. Tomorrow we'll be back here at Crystal Palace. Let's hope the rain stays away and the sun returns. It's been a wonderful evening here in South London. Tyson Gay, the man of the moment. From myself, Tim Hutchings and Stuart Story, goodbye for now. We'll see